The vast majority of games are developed by teams of creators. If you usually play major AAA games, then it's easy to imagine that all game companies count on the support of dozens and sometimes hundreds of employees to put out a good product. But that's not always the case. In fact, the stories behind some of the most well-known games, both classic and modern, involve very few people. One of the most popular games in the world, Tetris, was designed by exactly one person. Minecraft, the beloved sandbox game, has a similar story. Welcome to HotFix Gaming. I'm Joy. Today, let's look at some of these games that were created by a team of 10 people or less, but are amazing to play. So, let's get started. Number 10. Trepang 2. Designed by the studio with the same name and published by Team 17, the ones who brought us Worms, it's easy to imagine that there were tens, if not hundreds of people behind this first-person shooter. But Trepang's inception story is far from what we think. The development of this title began in 2016 and was just a hobby project in order for developers to learn Unreal Engine. After posting some public demos of the game, the team quickly grew from 1 person to 4 members. Team 17 released this game initially for Windows in June 2023, then the ports to Xbox and PlayStation came later that year. Trepang received very positive reviews on Metacritic, with many praising the combat, stealth, and its story. Number 9. Skr Ritual. A Made of Skr spin-off, Skr Ritual was developed by a core team of 5 and has you playing alone or banding together as a team of 4 in co-op to fend off waves of monstrous undead and other horrors. While shooting through the hordes, you'll be able to acquire Celtic god powers and upgrade your arsenal of steampunk weapons. The game was initially released in early access on Steam in 2022 and has nothing but incredibly positive reviews. Since the 18th of April, the game is now fully released on all platforms for everyone to enjoy. Number 8. Iconoclasts. Iconoclasts is an open-world platformer that was developed by Sweden-based game developer Joachim Konjak Sandberg. In the game, players step into the shoes of a mechanic who has a strong inclination to solve the conflicts that threaten her friends and her home planet. It took Joachim 8 years to complete Iconoclasts. Reviewers of the game noted that the world-building and narrative that Iconoclasts had was unmatched, going as far as to say that it can hold a candle against iconic games like Metroid Fusion and Final Fantasy IX. Number 7. Valheim. Developed by a small Swedish game development studio named Iron Gate Studio, Valheim was officially released into early access in February 2021. The studio co-founders Richard Svensson and Henrik Tornqvist, I hope I pronounced that right, were both co-workers at a local game development company called Pieces Interactive. Svensson began working on Valheim in 2017, and in 2018 he decided to leave Pieces Interactive in order to work on his project full-time. He had also managed to convince Tornqvist to join him that same year. The result of their hard work? An amazing exploration and survival game set in a world inspired by Norse mythology. Number 6. Bright Memory. Bright Memory is a first-person shooter / hack-and-slash action game that was developed by Chinese indie developer Zheng FYQD Jiansheng. According to Jiansheng, he developed the game in his spare time, and he used Unreal Engine 4 to do so. Bright Memory comes to prove that high-quality graphics and gameplay are possible, if a little difficult, with a one-person team. It features glossy visuals and first-person shooting mixed with hack-and-slash action. The game is unique and a bit tricky at first, but overall the game is an incredible product to be built by just one individual. And if you're enjoying this video so far, why not show it by hitting that like button? Number 5. Outer Wilds. Can you believe that this game was initially developed as a master's thesis by a group of 6 students at the University of Southern California? Granted, what they presented as their thesis was still far from a complete game, but was enough to gain momentum. Once the developers had graduated, 2 of them, Lone Vernot and Alex Borchum, would go on to work in a newly formed company, Mobius Digital, which would continue to work on Outer Wilds, but more like as a side project. In March 2015, the title would go on to win the Seamus McNally Grand Prize, a feat which convinced everyone at Mobius Digital that this should be their next big project. Now, Outer Wilds is a critically acclaimed and award-winning open-world mystery about a solar system trapped in an endless time loop. Number 4. Hollow Knight. What does one get when they combine the intriguing lore and menacing bosses of Dark Souls with Metroidvania platforming and beautiful hand-drawn animation? Luckily, Australian developer Team Cherry has the answer. Hollow Knight. Players control a nameless knight as they traverse the abandoned tunnels of Hallownest. The world's many subsections range from elegant to ominous, and intertwining them is the forgotten history of a once great kingdom. The game controls exceptionally well, and its many boss battles truly test the knight's skill. The success of this indie game is impressive, especially since the developer, Team Cherry, had only 3 people working on this title. Number 3. Lethal Company. One of the funniest games from our list, Lethal Company has become a viral hit due to the community and players simply reacting to the world and its mechanics. What could have been a simple extraction game in which players must collect as many materials as possible while avoiding all manner of ever-increasing SCP dangers took the internet by storm, not only due to the fun concept, but the use of the game's proximity chat. Players simply trying to survive the many environments turned simple encounters into laugh-out-loud sitcoms. Created by developer Zeekers, who previously developed games in Roblox, Lethal Company was released in early access on Steam in October 2023. Even though the game is still in early access, the fanbase continues to grow, while new players are constantly discovering new mysteries and creatures hiding on the various moons. Number 2. Undertale. Undertale is a 2D role-playing game that was developed by Toby Fox, a video game designer and composer. It was released on the Windows and Mac OS X in 2015 before being ported to the PlayStation 4, Vita, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One. The game was well received by critics and was nominated in several Game of the Year categories on a number of gaming websites, and has since grown to attain the status of a cult classic along with a spiritual successor. Number 1. Stardew Valley. Eric Barone, also known as Concerned Ape, has arguably created one of the most inspiring life simulation RPGs. Loosely based on the Harvest Moon series, Stardew Valley had gamers assume the role of a burnt-out character who tries to escape the stress of an office job by taking care of their grandfather's farm. While the first version of the game was solely created by Eric Barone, succeeding updates were launched with the help of a team of developers. Because of this, every update Stardew Valley had only made the game bigger and more popular with gamers from every platform. So, which games from our list have you played? Which ones are you now looking forward to playing? Let us know your favorites in the comment section below. And if you enjoy gaming content and want more, why not check out our 2 videos linked on screen? One of them is about gaming developers that were successful in multiple genres, while the second one is our top 10 visually stunning video games to play right now.